All right, good morning. I think today some of you are going to love what I'm talking about and you'll think it's powerful. And some of you are going to think it's preposterous and that I'm overstepping my bounds. And I want to hear from all of you so we can continue that discussion. I'm going to talk about ordination, and particularly the idea of self-ordination, which is something I've been thinking about, what it might mean. And I'm influenced by Whitman, who does talk about ordination in the Song of the Road. But before we get to that, ordination is an interesting word, right? Like something is ordained, preordained, like in the Bible, God ordains the outcome of a battle, preordains it. It determines the outcome, ordains the result of a football match, right? We think of the word to mean causing or determining the outcome, ensuring the outcome of something. A related word, ordinal, an ordinal list, a list of items in sequence. Right, one thing precedes and proceeds. So there's a sense of structure and coherence in the word when we say that something is ordained. It is happening because kind of nothing else could happen except that which has been ordained. Then we have the word ordination, which we associate with priesthood or ministry, right? We ordain someone to serve a congregation. We ordain someone with some kind of spiritual capacity. What I'm interested in is the idea of ordination as kind of a vow to the self. Right, I'm not talking here about taking on institutional recognition as an individual, sort of absconding or assuming a role that isn't properly given or granted. I'm really not talking about it that way. Here's what Whitman says. This is section 5 of the poem Song of the Open Road. From this hour I ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines. Actually, before we go further, so what do we think he means there? Ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines. So he's defining himself. He's using the word ordain deliberately, I think, to mean taking the position that he is as a person on the road, and letting go of preordained limitations, right? He's using the word ordination as an antidote to the idea of being ordained, that which is ordained, loosed of limits and imaginary lines, no longer defining himself even, I think, by the physical structure of his body, but certainly not by the ideas or institutions that we think of when we say ministerial ordination. Right. From this hour I ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines, going where I list, my own master, total and absolute. I react against that a little bit. I mean, I love Whitman, and I find myself ringing with the truth of his words. When he says my own master, total and absolute, I always want to take that with a grain of salt, because we aren't our own masters. I talk about this a lot. I don't think Whitman means this in the way that it sounds like. This is not a glorification of a reified self. And I know those are my words. But I don't want us to get hung up on the idea that he's saying that he is the single authority to define his position in the universe. I think he's opened up to the wisdom of the universe, and that from there comes his confidence on the road. I'm going to shift quickly to this other section I had marked, which is section 46 from Song of Myself. He says, I tramp a perpetual journey. Come, listen all. And I think this is preaching. He's ordained. He's preaching. Right? He's not a minister of the Methodist Church or of the Episcopalian Church, or I guess back then it would have been a lot of Unitarians, right? Emerson was ordained as a Unitarian. Instead, he's ordained. He's on the road, the spiritual path, as well as I think the physical road. Whitman is a psychogeographer. He's always, when he says walking, he means walking, as well as, like tramping, legs moving, as well as the walk of the path, the spiritual path. So the material and the metaphor are the same. I tramp a perpetual journey. Come, listen all. Okay, now this next line. My signs are a rainproof coat, good shoes, and a staff cut from the woods. Good shoes and a rainproof coat, because you are manifestly out on the land walking. William Blake undoubtedly had a good pair of shoes and a raincoat. I have a great pair of shoes. I'm actually looking to replace the boots that I have. I've had for over 10 years, and they're really great. I've resold them. I've repaired them 4 times. But the seams of the leather are just coming undone. I've had the seams repaired once. So I'm now thinking of a new pair of boots, and it is a spiritual move. But so here we are in the Whitman sense, ordained because we have taken the crucible of our own experience and said, this is what I am unfolding and exploring. My ordination is my commitment to that path, to that walk. And how will you know that I am ordained? How? Not because I have robes or collar or a hat, all of which are awesome, but no, the signs of the prophet, the signs of the ordained, it's a good pair of shoes, a rainproof coat, and a walking stick. Let me read the rest of this section from Song of Myself before I go back to the road. In fact, I'll just read the line before that. So again, section 46. I don't think all editions of Leaves of Grass have sections in it. The Kindle version I have doesn't have the section numbers. It's very difficult to navigate around. I have this pocket edition, which is great because I have it in my pocket. I know I have the best of time and space and was never measured and never will be measured. I think that's what he means when he says, my own master, total and absolute. It means never being measured. And what does measuring mean? It's structural definition. I tramp a perpetual journey. Come, listen all. My signs are a rainproof coat, good shoes, and a staff cut from the woods. No friend of mine takes his ease in my chair. I have no chair, no church, no philosophy. I lead no man to a dinner table, library, exchange, but each man and each woman of you I lead upon a knoll, my left hand hooking you round the waist, my right hand pointing to landscapes of continents and the public road. I love that image of Whitman, the avatar, embodied, right? This is, I think, an important message, aspect. When you read Whitman, it's not the words, it's the embodiment of Whitman himself right there. And here he's showing you. His left hand is wrapped around your waist, and he's talking. And I can just feel that and see it with you. Just showing the universe. And then, and how do we trust him? Well, because he has a good pair of boots and a rainproof coat. How can we trust him? Well, because he is ordained. From this hour I ordain, so we recognize him because of the signs of the good shoes and the rainproof coat and the staff. We can trust him because he has ordained himself, loosed of limits. Okay, going where I list, my own master, total and absolute. Right? Because never measured, never will be measured. Listening to others, considering well what they say, pausing, searching, receiving, contemplating. Gently, but with undeniable will, divesting myself of the holds that would hold me. I inhale great draughts of space. The east and the west are mine, and the north and the south are mine. I am larger, better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. That goodness, let me stress, is available to all of us with that open self-ordination. So, I'm doing this. I'm trying to think of a way. I took a walk last weekend, a long walk up around the park here with those lines in mind. And I'm writing up a short essay for Substack about, well, really what I'm just talking about here, but with a bit more structure. I think part of the path is we all start with aspiration, and in some way or another we take refuge in the practice. Now, in Buddhism, that's a very formal recognition that we take refuge in the teacher, the teachings, the Dharma, the teachings, right? The Sangha, the community, and the awakened one, the enlightened mind. I think what Whitman is articulating for us here is a really conscious, like, binding of that into our day-by-day life. That we are, in our interactions, telling this. Not like I'm doing here in a YouTube video, talking about it, but embodying it. And I think that step of self-ordination, of self-commitment, of binding yourself to the path and nothing else, I think it's a wonderful, beautiful, crucial, necessary, powerful, but perhaps preposterous thing to do. So, let me know what you think. If you think I'm a heretic, let me know that. If you think Whitman, as I do, is an avatar. On my piano downstairs, I have 3 books. I have a counterpoint study book. I have a copy of the Bible, the New King James, which I find more poetic than the English standard study that I use. And then this, because it feeds into my composition. The piano I have here, so I work up here. This is my, not just my YouTube studio, it's my workspace. I have a a job that I can do at my desk here. And I have this piano that sometimes I write here, but I have a really nice piano downstairs that is my, my instrument. Anyway, that's probably another video. If you're interested in the space, let me know. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm happy to walk through. Let me go, and I'll let you go and keep your wits about you.